Hey you guys, this I guess is going to be the best that I can do. We're back, hopefully. I mean this screen's still kind of weird. I did a different angle on it, so hopefully, I don't know, you can see a little bit more. But I'm gonna have to mess around with it later and figure it out, because this is not where it's at. Alright, so I'm just going to jump right in. My wallets come with a wristlet strap, so that is what I'm making first. Hi, Sue. Hey, Candy. Just Mammy, are you back in? Hey, Kathy. Thanks. Is it Lavy or Lavy? Hey, Betty Joe. All right, wristlet strap is done. Let me add the hardware. So I'm going to poke a hole at the end, and then another hole about an inch and a quarter above that. Oh, hey, Joanne. The name threw me off. And then another hole at the other end. When I turn my phone, I get full screen. I just don't see the comments, so that's good. Hopefully the full screen isn't that bad. All right, so I have a 1/2 inch lobster clasp and a large double cap rivet that I'm going to be using as hardware for the wristlet strap. Okay, so on one end we have a finished end. This one is raw, so that one is not finished. This one is finished. So we have 2 holes. I'm going to poke a hole through, or poke my rivet through the bottom hole, bring up the edge of the other side, put that on the rivet so it looks like this, and then now I'm going to put on my lobster clasp and then fold over the top and add that to the rivet. And then I'm going to put the back of it on, and that's how I make my wristlet straps. You're on YouTube, yay! And then I just need to set the rivet. I'm not a huge fan of the screen, and I can't mirror it, so everything's backwards. But we'll figure it out. Alright, so the wristlet strap, and the lighting is terrible. The wristlet strap is done. I'm going to set that aside, and now we're going to work on our credit card panels. So there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 12 credit card slots. I make the pattern, when I cut out my material, I make it about 1 inch wider and 1 inch longer, which gives me a little leeway. I've also made some little pattern pieces for each of the folds. I can't give it out just because it's not my pattern. Hi, first time watching. Thanks, Claire. It's my first time being on YouTube. All right, so I'm going to start with my first piece. I don't know if you guys can see, but I just line up my pattern piece along the edge of the fabric and then fold this up. And that's my first fold. I am known a happen body alive. I'm so not many. Oh, perfect. What size are my rivets? The one that I made my wristlet strap, it's a large rivet. I get them from Tandy Leather, and so they just use small, medium, and large. All right, then I have my second fold. I put my little pattern piece down and fold that over. And then third, and then it just goes back and forth. There's no on my end. Oh, good. To me, it's really small. I was so confused. I was watching the other video. Yeah, the other one didn't go so well, so I just restarted the live. Sorry. So I just go back and forth with my pattern pieces, because if you look at the pattern, the next like 4 or 5 folds, it's just alternating sizes. Okay, so here's what we got for our credit card slots, and then I'm not sure if the pattern says it, but I'm going to stitch across each top, and it just helps them lay nice and flat and look really pretty. Thanks, large. I bet I have some just for that. Oh, perfect. Yeah, this is a great pattern. All right, so I just do stitches right across the top of each of those folds. I don't back stitch because I'm going to trim this down to size. My thread got caught. All right, let me just rethread this really quick. Just sent you a screenshot. Okay, thanks. Did you send it to my messenger? I'm not ready to see what the picture looks like. Am I gonna have a jump scare? I don't know why it's not coming up. It's not coming up for some reason. I'll look at it later. Okay. So here's what we got so far with our credit card panel. We just folded it and then just stitched right along the top. Let me clip my little threads. Okay, so here's what it looks like now, just with stitches across the top. It helps it lay nice and flat, and then it gives it a really nice finish. I don't know if you can see it because the thread is gray. And so because I make mine a little bit bigger, I'm going to normally take this to my cutting table and just cut it down to size, but I've already done that. So this is what it looks like after it's cut down. And again, I just make the pattern a little bit bigger while I'm doing the folds, just because your folding can get off a little bit, it can be crooked, and then I just cut it down. And then after you cut both sides down, what I do is I stitch down the sides just to hold all those folds together. Because without it clipped, they're just like that. So I just do a stitch right down the side just to hold all of them together so I can take those side clips off. And then the next step is going to be to take both of them and sew them right sides together. I'm not going to do that because I haven't trimmed this off, but you want to put them right sides together and then stitch down the bottom, which I've done over here. So this is what you're looking like so far. You have your folds, you stitched your line across the top, I stitched my sides down so I can take the clips off, and then the next step is going to be to sew a line down the center, which will separate your credit card slots. So there'll be 3 over here, 3 over here, same thing down here. My thread. Susan. It's been a little challenging, but we'll get through it. Okay, so I just stitched down the center. I have a couple of marks that I used with a friction pen, so I'm just going to hit that with the iron to get those marks off. Now we have our individual credit card slots on each side. And then the next step is going to be to take the back of it and we're going to sew it right sides together. So I'm just going to line that up and clip it in place. I love toss. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Does anybody know off the top of their head if the pattern calls for top stitching each of those rows? I mean, it should. It just makes it look 1,000 times better. So the right sides are clipped together. We're going to stitch the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to use the sides to turn it right side out. Late to the party, yes. I'm going to try to go kind of quickly on here because I have a 1 o'clock on TikTok. 1 o'clock my time. It does. Okay, good. So we've got those stitched together, and then now I'm going to turn it right side out through the side. And then I'm just going to hit it with my iron, and that's going to remove those marks that I made on the front. Okay, good. Good, good, good. And that's how you make the credit card panel. So let me just hit it with my iron really quick. Get any wrinkles out. And then now, again, I'm not sure if the pattern calls for it, but I do a top stitching along the top and the bottom. So here's the stitching for our credit cards. I'm going to do that up top and down on the bottom. Somebody tell me, is that on the pattern too? I haven't looked at this pattern literally in years, so I can't remember anything. All right, credit card panel is done. This is what it looks like. And our sides are still open. Don't worry, that's going to be sewn down later on in the pattern. So I'm going to set this aside and work on the wallet flap. So if you missed the beginning, this is the main print of the wallet. I do know that mine is a little bit different than the pattern. I've squared mine off. And then I'm using a dark gray, so when you open up the wallet, you're going to see this. It's funny, I just finished my card. You did, I didn't think the mini had vertical slots. Oh. You're right. I'm thinking about the zip around wallet. Yes, you're right. All right, so we're going to clip those together, right sides, and then sew them down, leaving the top open so that we can turn it right side out. Oh, Lord, I'm so sorry. Thanks, Carmen. All right, now we're going to sew this. So we left the top open. I'm going to clip my corners. That way when I turn it right side out, we don't have a whole lot of bulkiness in that seam. And then turn it right side out. I start with the corners. That way I can poke those out. And then we'll just flip the rest. You guys, I did it upside down. Let me go grab my other one because I had 2 of these cut out, so I'm going to have to grab my other one. Glad I got you on YouTube. I can't seem to get on tape. Actually, let me see. I can probably just take it out and redo it, restitch it. I don't know if it's the YouTube thing. I'm just a little off guard. I'm not on my game right now. All right. Let's see what happens. If this turns into a mess, I'll just go grab the other one and do that one. Actually, for time's sake, I think I'm just going to do that. I think, yeah, it's right next to me because I was going to make that afterwards. Elephants, upside down elephants. All right, I'll redo this later. Let me go grab the other one. Okay, reset. Right side up. Clip this down. And restart. Take a deep breath. And reset. It's YouTube. It's all grass. Mistakes by others. Oh, no. No, you're not a loser. I've done any mistake that you can think of, I've probably done. It happens to the best of us. Okay, let me double check my pattern one more time. All right, we're good. And continue. Onward. Upside down elephants are good luck. Yeah, somewhere in the world, I'm sure there's good luck. All right, let's try this again. Clip our corners. Turn it right side out. Yeah, this is not the first mistake that I've made on a NCW, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last. Okay, we're good. We're good, guys. Let me grab my screwdriver to poke out the corners. I use a screwdriver. I know some people use like chopsticks. I think there's an actual tool that you can use. I'm not that fancy. I just have a little tiny screwdriver, and I just go really slow so I don't poke through my vinyl. And then now I'm just going to clip everything in place so that I can do a top stitch. That's how we learn. I keep wanting to tap the screen. Do they not have that option here? I think I may have watched a YouTube live one time. I've definitely never gone live on YouTube. And I don't have a lot of experience watching other people live. All right, clip everything in place, and then we're going to top stitch. All right, I need to adjust my tension. The thicker the layers, the tighter the tension that you want. So I went from 2 layers, now I'm on 4 layers, right? Because we have the seam from the inside and then the 2 layers from the outside. Now look at the back. That wasn't tight enough. So if you ever see your stitches looking like this, I don't know if you guys can see it. That means your tension is too loose. So no big. I'm going to go ahead and just take those stitches out and redo it. I got a little frog in my throat. The seam ripper is getting her money's worth today. All up in the live. Is it limited on time? I don't see anything. If it is, that might be a blessing in disguise. Truth be told. Watching gave me the courage to make. Oh, good. Okay. Onward. Oh, I missed a piece of thread. There we go. All right, let me check my stitches. Beautiful. Check my stitches, everything looks good. So here are the stitches on the front. This is the top stitching. And then here's what it looks like on the back. I don't know if that's picking up. I'm not really a fan of the YT. All right, now I'm going to insert my twist lock. So here are all of the hardware pieces for the twist lock. You have two circular pieces. That's what the twist lock turns through. And then you have the actual twist lock and the back. I'm going to set this aside for later and install this. Thanks, Alan. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to line this up on my ruler, find the center, and then I'm going to draw a circle, make a mark on the inside circle. So that way I know it's centered. And then the seam ripper in all her glory will make another move. I'm going to cut that out. So I start it with my seam ripper, and then I just take my scissors to go around. I'm going to cut about 1/8 of an inch outside of that little circle. And that's just removing the extra fabric so it doesn't peek through my opening. Hi, Debbie. Then I'm going to install my opening. Make sure it's nice and lined up on the front, and it is. I have a little pen that I've been using for years to put these little prongs in place. There's no ink in this pen, and so for me it works perfectly. I'm not sure what's equivalent to an old pen. So the prongs go into these little divots, and then they sit nice and flush. So this is going to be the front of the wallet. I'm going to set this aside, and let's finish up our zipper pocket. So this acts as two different things for this wallet. It gives it a little zipper pocket, and it also gives little sections inside of the wallet. I install my zipper on my domestic machine because this is a little too strong. But now what I'm going to do is top stitch down each side, and then I'm going to close this up. I'm live on YouTube. We might be a one and doneer over here. We'll see what happens. So here is the top stitching, and then now what I'm going to do, is close it up. Let's clip off this excess zipper. And I know for certain I do this a little bit different than the pattern. I make mine about 1/4 of an inch shorter. That way I can tuck these raw edges into the sides of my wallet, and I don't have to worry with a zipper tab or anything extra. And I'll show you at the end. You don't see this raw edge. And then now I'm going to sew down, across, and then back up. I hope it right. We'll see. Alright, and then just like the wallet flap, I'm going to trim my corners. Anytime you sew something that has a square rectangle shape, you always want to trim your corners to get that excess material out. Much better watching it on my iPad. My voice is not matching. That's why we might be one and done. Do you mean why is our lengthwise for shorter? I make this shorter. So the width stays the same. Go back to my trusty little screwdriver and poke through my corners. That really, oh, thank you. I feel like I'm so drowned out by the lighting, and it doesn't look like this on TikTok, so I'm not sure what's going on. Oh well. So here is our zippered pocket, and then it also gets stitched in the wallet like this to give us our different sections. So I'm going to do a top stitch on the bottom, and then we're going to slip this aside and move on to the main body of the wallet. I'm also going to hit it with my iron just to get out any little wrinkles. All right, so there is the top stitching, and then iron. That's just the steam. All right, so far we have our interior pocket, we have our wallet flap, we have our credit card panel, and now we're going to move on to putting everything together. So I'm going to start with the interior lining. This wallet is sewn inside out, so there's a couple of different ways to turn it right side out. The way that I've always used, because I think it looks a little bit better, is adding a opening to the inside lining. The opening will be sewn shut by the end of the project, so you don't have to worry about having an opening in your wallet. So I just find the center, I go up about 3 inches and then cut through both layers, and that's going to give me a 6-inch opening. The wallet panel is 8, I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's bigger than the opening, so this will be closed. All right, so that's the only prep work that I do on the lining. And then now what I'm going to do for the exterior is I'm going to make a couple of slits for my twist lock. I'm not going to install it until later though. This is just how I've always done it. Your voice and lips match on my end. Could be different Wi-Fi. I never watched a live on YouTube. I was just saying I only watched one, and it was a while ago. I'm not sure how I feel about it. We need to put our technique. Yeah, because I don't know anybody. All right, so I just poked out just a couple of holes so that way I can install my twist lock later and I don't have to worry about doing all the measurements. And then now we're just going to put everything together. So we take our interior lining, exterior, clip those together. Hey Shannon. T. Tara is T. That's easy enough. And then now at the top, and the pattern gives you where to do it, we're going to tuck in between these 2 layers our wallet flap. And then clip that in place. Is Hubby enlisted, or he's an officer? So I just line that up, and then I'm going to clip that in place. Now my wallets come with a wristlet strap. We made that earlier. Where did I put it? So we need something on the wallet to attach our strap to so that we can wear it as a wristlet. So what I do, and I hope I have one made, or I'm going to go bananas. I do. I take this little wristlet strap attachment, which I pre-made. I usually make, whenever I do a color, I usually make like 4 or 5 or 10 of them, just because they're so quick to make. So I'm going to tuck that in underneath the wallet flap, and that will give my wristlet something to hold on to. And then now we're just going to sew all the way around. Remember, this is sewn inside out. We're going to use this opening to turn it right side out. Uh-oh. hear a truck. I have a delivery scheduled for today for fabric. That might be it. That's it. My doorbell's gonna ring in a second. My hubby doesn't listen, maybe. Oh, thanks. Thanks for your service, your husband, and your family service. Mine's in the Army. But, you know, same team. My dogs are going to go nuts when the doorbell rings. Alright, so we have it. There we go. I caught it. So now what I'm going to do, hey, Butters, you are a lady. So now I'm just going to clip out all the extra fabric. Do I have a webcam for the next time? I mean, I have I don't want to call it a desktop because it's one of those screens. I do have a webcam. I'm just going to say yes. And I might figure out a way to work that out next time. That would actually probably be a little bit better because I ordered another phone holder so that way I can go live with YouTube and with TikTok. But now that I'm thinking about it and now that you said something, if I can use a computer, then I have a little table right here. I can just set my laptop on and use that. So we might have to try that next time. I use my pinking shears to trim the extra because it gets a lot more fabric out. My dogs are barking like, oh no, I'm so sorry. They're done. They get over it really quickly. All right, so now we're going to turn this right side out through our hole. I'm trying if I said it's just a whole lot of practice. I can't tell you, I've literally made hundreds of these wallets, hundreds. Like maybe 500. It's quite a bit. Alright, so here's what we're looking like. If you've never made this wallet before or seen me make this wallet before, it looks so weird, but I promise it's going to turn out to one of these. So now what I'm going to do is get the wrinkles out of here. Sometimes you get some wrinkles on your vinyl. You cannot iron vinyl, so I'm just going to put my iron on top, hit it with a little steam, and that's enough to get out the wrinkles but not damage your vinyl. And then now what we're going to do is a top stitch all the way around. So as you can see, it's kind of bubbly right now. The top stitch allows it to lay nice and flat. Don't be intimidated. There's quite a few steps to it, but there's a lot of really good videos out there, especially on YouTube, that walk you through it. But it's a really great pattern to make, and if you sell bags, it's a really good seller too. So I would definitely say that it's worth the frustration of going through and learning the pattern. Because the first couple times I made it, I was absolutely frustrated. But you got to just practice. So do it on something where you expect to make mistakes, so that way you're not that upset, you know, when it happens. I've never seen you make this before. Really? I feel like I make these all the time. I mean, it's been a while, but all right, done. So here is what the top stitching looks like all the way around. That's what it looks like on the interior. And then now what I'm going to do is add my nameplate to the back of it. Honey, okay, so I don't always catch your light. I'm currently, oh no, it's late. I do like the flap on yours. I like it too. I think the main reason why I decided to change mine is because it gives me more print. So the original pattern, it has like a little curve right here, so it cuts off the corner, which no biggie. I mean, it's a cute design, but I'd rather have more of the print, whatever print I'm working with. And all you literally have to do is put a ruler this way, put a ruler this way from the edge, and then just make your own pattern where it comes to a point. It was really easy. All right, let me measure the back. I'm going to put my nameplate on the back of the wallet. Found me. Hey, Debbie. Where do you get your nameplates? I've been told Alibaba, but it makes me nervous. I got these from a supplier on Etsy. It's called Metal Things Art. The quality of the last order that I got was not very good, so I do not recommend him, but Metal Things Art is where I get mine from. And maybe you'll have better luck. All right, and then a dual purpose for this opening is that you can just go right on in and add the back of your name tape. The other option, I think the pattern says to like leave a little opening when you're sewing it up so that you can turn it right side out through the panel. And then when you do your top stitching, that sews it shut. I just like this one a lot better. All right, so essentially here's what's going to happen. This is going to be the back of our wallet. So just so you have like a little visual. And then of course the front is going to fold over. So this part right here is going to be the back of the wallet. All right, next up, we're going to add our credit card panel. So I just line it up with the wallet flap to make sure everything is nice and even. I have the same amount of space on the top of it as I do down here, and then just make sure it stays aligned. And then you want to fold over your side, clip that in place. And this is what covers up those raw edges that we left open on the side, this next step. And then do the same thing on the other side. And then we're just going to sew down, which is going to hold our credit card panel in place and close up those sides. So make sure everything is nice and even. Yep, we're good. All right, so I'm just going to stitch down each side, and that's going to hold that panel in place. I normally use the black credit card panel when I'm doing this. There's not really any black on the outside fabric, so I just figured I wanted something a little softer, which is why I went with the gray. And I also wanted something a little contrasting from the lining. So that's what happened here. Hey, Debbie. All right, so that is what it looks like stitched in. And then our credit card panel is held down, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Hey, Susan. You have the same picture as you do on TikTok. That makes it easy for me. All right. Credit card panel is in place. Now, the next step that we do is to sew our pocket down the center. And that's going to cover up the lining that's opened. But that's also going to cover up the lining that's open. So before I do that, I use this last amount of time to insert my twist lock while that opening is still in there. So I'm going to insert that at the back, and then we'll sew the pocket in. Let me find the back. There we go. All right. So our twist lock has been installed. And then now we're going to go ahead and sew our pocket in. Let me mark where it gets stitched. We're just going to sew a really long rectangle. So I'm just going to mark that rectangle. So that way I have a guide while I'm sewing. And again, this is a friction pin. The ink comes off when I hit it with my iron. Alright, so now let me tuck this in, get everything lined up, get me stitching, make sure it is even on both sides as well as the top and the bottom. I'm not sure what the pattern, how it recommends to do this. Like I said, it's been a while. I don't backstitch. When I start or stop, I'm going to bring my threads through and knot them off, which gives me a really seamless finish. So I bring my thread through, tie that off in a knot, and then clip the excess thread. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the thread where I stop. First time ever watching YouTube live. Doesn't it feel weird? It's not my fave. I've already messed up twice. All right, back to where we started. And then I'm going to pull my thread through and knot it off. I was trying to tap and it didn't work. Somebody else said the same thing. Tapping doesn't work. Is there like a little like button? I see that there's 14 likes. But I don't know if your screen looks like mine. My little thumbs up button is at the very top. All right, so why don't we pull the fabric through? So that way we have a really nice seamless, let me see, where you start and stop. There's not multiple layers of thread. There's just the one. And then here's why I make my pocket, this interior pocket, shorter, so I don't have to use ends to my pocket, because it's now shorter than what it's going into. So once I fold this over and stitch it down, I'm going to stitch up the top. You're not going to see the ends of my zipper. So everything still stays nice and finished. So I'm just going to clip this in place. I missed most of it. Yeah, the replay will be up here. It's a little blurred. It's not good. All right, so we have this side pulled up and clipped to the side, which gives us this section. And then I'm going to pull up the bottom and do the same thing. And then we're going to sew the sides down. And then we'll be done and we can go over to Trusty Dusty TikTok. All right, so here we go. This is our wallet. The inside, I'm glad I caught that. I did not hit it with my lighter, so my ink marks are still in there. I was like, why is that so dark? So I just run my iron along the edge and that gets that ink out. Every time I go to read the chat, it's weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. I gotta show up on my big TV. I guess that's the only benefit. All right, there we go. Now we're good. We got our ink out. All right, so now I'm just going to sew down each of these sides and then the wallet's going to be done. At this point, if you want to close your wallet, make sure everything lines up. I usually just give it a little squeeze since this is the first time that our wallet has been created and closed, but that essentially is what it looks like. So that stitching that we did to hold the pocket in, it secures the pocket, but it also gives a nice structure to the bottom of the wallet. All right, let's wrap this big boy up. And then I need to run downstairs and grab my fabric, and then I'm going to jump on TikTok. Try again with the webcam. Okay, I'll give it one more try. I'm willing to try anything twice. Just getting all my stuff out of the way. Can't find the like button. So weird, right? Can't tell the pattern. It's elephant. The elephant is vinyl, yeah. You're looking for the light button. Are you guys saying like or light? Like. Okay. I feel like the comments are coming in kind of slow too. Like from the time that you guys comment to the time I see it. We'll figure this out. We'll have to figure this out. You have to leave the live chat. You have to leave to like it? No, you're really doing. Thanks, Frida. I got 3 dots on the top, right? I'm hoping that the computer next time will be better. Let me clip my threads. I usually wait until the end. I mean, you guys know me. I'm a thread clipper while I'm working to keep everything clean. But because there's so many threads, I usually just do it all at the end and just clip it all like a little haircut. Okay, good. You can always come back to live chat. Yeah, that's what I like too. I wish TikTok, when I repost the lives, include the chat. All right, threads clip. I'm going to just singe it with my lighter just for a second. That just makes sure everything is nice and flush. Sometimes, especially at this angle, when I clip, I can't get really close to the vinyl. So this will just singe anything that's left over. It's like a bad eyebrow. You know how you pluck it out? I don't know if you do. I do. All right, so now here are my zipper ends. So this is the one with the raw edge, and you cannot see the end of it because it's stitched into the side, and I make it a little bit shorter. And then this is what the other one looks like. You can't see the end of that also. You can't see that raw edge. So that's why I do it like this. While it's done, add my wristlet strap, close this baddie up. And this is the elephant wallet. So this is what you'll see. And then of course, on the top, you have more. And then you have your sides. That part is the hardest just because it's so many layers. And that's the back. Isn't it pretty? I'm going to list it for sale. Let me take a picture of it. That way, if anybody wants it, you can order it. Let's see. Open it up. I love the contrasting fabric too. That is my fave. And I'm like a sucker for polka dots and stripes, or polka dots and crosshatch, polka dots and anything different. I'm a sucker for it. All right, let me just add this really quick. And then we can move over to Old Trusty. Thanks, guys. All right, let's see. Elephant wallet. Add picture, bam, bam. All done. And active. So we got through that in less than an hour. Granted, I didn't do like the full credit card panel. I just did a little bit of it live. Heading to TikTok. Okay. TikTok next. Yes, I'm so excited. All right, I'm going to upload this. I don't know if it automatically uploads or if I have to upload it, but it'll be available after I get off of TikTok if I have to manually do it. I will see you guys over there.